Hey everyone, it's Alvy. The following video was stitched together from parts 1 and 2 of the long-awaited Amujology course. The links to both individual videos are in the description. There's a total of 22 or 23 minutes of content here, I don't know which yet, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the complete long-awaited Amujology course. Part 1.
Who knows? Maybe Agma will let me do an Amujology lecture later on. Then I'll talk about the issue of Amu's successor states.
You just heard me obliviously predicting another Amujology lecture on Agma Schwa's YouTube channel in the
Amujology
section of Agma's video, Nguhcraft, a brief introduction. Wait, that name's wrong. Much better. Anyway, after 13 months, during 11 of which I was banned from Agma's Discord server, I finally present to you the long-awaited full Amujology course. Yes, it's Amujology. More correctly, Amujology, but whatever. Let's get started then, shall we? I'm Alvy, and welcome to Did you like what I did there? Like, copying his intro by replacing it with yeah, whatever. But first, a bit of context. Chapter 0. Context. Nguhcraft is a world-building Minecraft server named after Canadian YouTuber Robert Agma-Schwa Cole, or for short. Quoting from the Nguhcraft wiki, on Nguhcraft, players have been creating countries, building cities and monuments, and engaging in foreign relations with other countries for over a year now, much of which is documented on this wiki. It's pretty awesome. Citation needed. Among the over 100 sovereign states or nations on Nguhcraft that have existed until the time of my ban, there are 12-ish nations that this video will focus on. Amuis. The study of their history is what was named Amujology. But what is Amujology? Chapter 1. What is Amujology? To quote from the Nguhcraft wiki page for Amujology, Amujology is a field of study dedicated to the study of the history of Amui and subsequent nations founded by the Kyawcenni collective and their successors, the Greeks Mauritanians. Now what the fuck does all that mean? Let's start with those names first. Oh, can I do this part? Yes, Ingrid. Yes, you can. Yay! Alright, so, the Kyawcenni collective, also known as the headspace snapping OCs or HNOC system until sometime in February of 2024, was the contemporary label given to the first system that Alvy and I hosted. This system, which we now call System Cycle 1, was in charge of the first 9 Amuis, and was then succeeded by the Greeks Mauritanians, Risitas, Arteris Collective, whatever, who were in charge of the other 3. Now that that's out of the way, back to you, Alvy. Thanks, Ingrid. Anyway, now that you know who I'll be talking about, let me explain some terms about what I'll be talking about. There are 3 types of Amu categorization schemes, of which 2 are classic, and the other was added on November 7th, 2025. Why? I don't know, I was banned for over 5 months by then. The classic ones, called the pro and anti-renamer classifications respectively, label every nation and their names differently. The pro renamers count 15 Amuis pre-ban, while the anti-renamers count only 12. The third classification, proposed by Helia and creatively named Helia's new classification, is an altered anti-renamer classification that, on top of the ARC, doesn't count any of the Amuis that existed concurrently with each other. It counts only 7 Amuis. Somehow. Anyway, I'll be using the pro-renamer classification for the remainder of this video. And now, let's get into the Amuis themselves. Chapter 2. Classical Amui. The classical period of Amui begins on April 2nd, 2024 with the establishment of the city-state of Amui, whose flag I've been using as the background for this video so far. To paraphrase from his Nguhcraft wiki page, the city-state of Amui, also known as North Amui after the breakaway of South Amui, commonly just Amui, and also known as Amui 1.0 by scholars of Amujology, was a nation on the continent of Tasusa. The CSA, which I only now realize is a terrible acronym, existed for a mere 6 months and 6 days between April 2nd and October 8th of 2024. Here, you can see the territorial expansion of Amui that began immediately after it was accepted into the Yuan, short for the United Nations, and which was ultimately its downfall. On June 30th, 2024, which coincidentally was the birthday of then-active headmate Elena, she's here, Alvy. Elena is back from dormancy. Привет, Alvy. Of the now active headmate Elena, I, Alvy, joined by Iris at the time, reorganized the city-state into 2 provinces, which are now known as the Tremina metropolitan area and as Sesjan. 4 days later, on July 4th, 2024, Amuj expanded to include the Nguhcrafters Peninsula and Sesjan Island, the former as a colony, and the latter as part of the Tremina metro area. On July 31st, 2024, the Amuj Constitution was ratified, which, among other things, grouped the Nguhcrafters Peninsula and what were then the Amuj and Elangami condominium of the East Nguhcrafters Islands into a new Nguhcrafters province. Then, on August 22nd, 2024, the country of Merbedia just collapsed, and Amuj claimed the western part of Merbedia and Scarecrow Harbor as the territory of Pulchrea. And then came September 17th of 2024. What happened then? Ingrid, are you serious? You were there! Ah, right, South Amuj. From the 17th to the 23rd of September 2024, I, Ingrid, together with a dormant headmate who I shall not name, broke away from the city-state of Amuj, which was then renamed to North Amuj, to form the People's Free City of Amuj, or South Amuj, which at the time comprised Sesjan Island and the whole of Nguhcrafters province. Or rather, Edosa, Roseiy, and the Jacos Islands. Those are any of those places. Yeah, don't worry about the pronunciations. There's a different language now. South Amuj would then go on to claim the territories of Zalingzhong on September 21st, Nimayu on October 6th, and the Tachu the day after. On that day, I also divided the PFCA into 2 parishes, the Ngahcrafters metropolitan area and Roseiy parish. Meanwhile, in North Amuj, dormant headmate Alice and current headmate Nix would also break away from the city-state to form the Nguhcrafterdom of Iwatha, spelled with a G for some reason. I don't know why. And then on October 8th, 2024, Amuj's 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0 all collapsed. We just couldn't do it anymore. This event is referred to as the Amuj explosion, and will come back to bite our ass after a whole week. Chapter 3. What's this one's name again? We have now reached the Republic of Shudrowan. No, Wanland. Or was it Umrat? Trick question. It's all 3. This place is referred to as Amuj's 5.0, 6.0, and 7.0 respectively by Amujologists like myself. Shudrowan consisted of the cities of Fasit, Faslit, and Ursat, as well as the condominium of Amuj-Shudrowan with Rep8 Latium. There were also the city of Alvy and the Alvy Islands, but those would comprise the Republic of Alvy, Amuj 8.0, which along with Shudrowan would comprise the Uzaki Federation, Amuj 9.0, or at least until December 6, 2024, when, the Uzaki Federation collapsed. Chapter 4. The beginning of the end for the CMC. We have finally reached Helfona, whose founding spelled the beginning of the end for the Kyawcenni collective. Its notable cities were the capital of Nguhcrafters with an R, and the nearby Oxby and Amuj. The latter is now called Ajamuj, which was very short-lived before an Amuj, possessing for almost 7 hours on January 2025. These 2, along with the surrounding regions of the Land of Chaos, then came to be known as the CMCA Federation, which also comprised the republics of Pilevu and Shipket, the territories of Dojazach, East and West Alamis, and the condominium of South Amuj-Shudrowan with Rep8 Latium and Velantnen. I'd say everything continued as planned, except it didn't. As on February 7th, 2025, the CMCA Federation, Amuj 11.0, 12.0, and 13.0, collapsed, and the Nguhcrafters collective collapsed with it. Chapter 5. Under Kyawcenni rule. On March 3rd, 2025, I came back to Nguhcraft after almost a month-long break. That same day, I became the governor of the Kyawcenni Organized Territory of Monkey Island. Now, for those of my subscribers who don't know what I'm talking about, Go watch the video. I've created a kingdom on a Discord Minecraft server by calling up Kyawcenni, Marsashika. Of note for this video are the settlements that I founded on Monkey Island with my headmates from, what was it again? Graf Multiridianus, Lithicus, Arteris Collective, whatever. Ah, right, that. Anyway, the settlements that Graf Multiridianus, Lithicus, Arteris Collective, whatever, founded on Monkey Island were the capital, Kyawcenni, Risitas in the south, Outerech in the east, and Ribas in the center. A month after its incorporation into the Kingdom of Kyawcenni, Monkey Island became an unorganized territory, which it still is. It's officially part of Kyawcenni now. Huh. Okay then. Not that that matters to me, because I gave up my role as governor of Monkey Island long before that on the 23rd of 4th month. I assume that means April 22nd, 2025. After that, I went on to found the Duchy of Bootland, named as such because this land was in the shape of a boot. Bootland went on to claim Oaksby with Roseiy, Fieldwood with Roseiy, and the island of on its own, all for about 8 days. 5 days later, on May 6th, 2025, Bootland collapsed and I left Nguhcrafters for 3 weeks. And finally, on May 29th, 2025, I founded Amuj 15.0, which I named Saharia after the Hebrew word for present, because it was shaped as such. It survived like that for about 10 hours before, unfortunately, I was banned from the network. Part 2. Chapter 6, Amujological Linguistics. So, if you recall from last time when I told you about the 50 Amuyan states, you might recall Ingrid messing up the pronunciations of her South Amuyan territories. Edosa, Roseiy, and the Jakos Islands. Well, we'll get to the correct pronunciations later in this video, but for now, I want to give you an overview of the Amuyan languages. Now, the term Amuyan languages refers not to any one language family, but to 4 groups of them. The Amuj-Shudrowan or Semitic languages, the Sesjan languages, languages used by other nations, and language isolates. In this video, I'll be going over each of those categories and the languages in them, so get your ears ready for some wacky phonemes. Chapter 7, the Sesjan languages. The Sesjan languages are a family of 11 currently known languages, consisting of 5 of ours and 6 that were made by other people wanting me to calm the fuck down with the consonants. Speaking of the consonants, Sesja, which is effectively the proto-language here, had a total of 85 consonants. That's way too many for an 11-minute video, so I'll just add that Sesja also has 30 total vowels, 5 long, 3 short, and 11 pairs of both. Although at first, there were only 14 consonants. M, N, P, B, D, D, Ch, J, K, L, Z, S, H, Y, and 7 vowels. A, O, O. So how did the consonant count more than sextuple, and the vowel count more than quadruple? I don't know, and I was the one who made it like this. But Sesja is not the only Sesjan language. Shocker, I know. There's also Jadug, the first of our Sesja descendants. Jadug has 20 phonemic consonants: M, N, M, P, T, K, B, D, G, F, S, Sh, H, V, J, G, V, R, L, Y, of which N is only found in loanwords. Additionally, N, T, D, S, R, L, Sh, and J become allophones N, T, D, S, R, W, Sh, J when in direct contact with K, G, H, and R. Jadug's vowels are what you'd expect from simplifying 30 vowels down as much as possible. That is, I, U, E, O, A. Jadug even has its own alphabet. I mean, Sesja had one too, but Jadug's is simpler. There's also Janaran, which I can't even type properly in the script for this video anymore, so, Essentialese, the language that Ingrid messed up last time. It has its own script too, but I can't find the images of it anymore, so, There are 29 phonemic consonants in Zanchalese. M, N, Ñ, La, P, Ch, K, H, E, B, D, Dr, G, G, F, S, Š, H, H, V, Z, Ž, G, R, W, L, Y, R, and 6 allophonic ones. N, K, K, H, Y, R. N and R occur where N and Y are direct contact with Ch, J, Sh, and J, while K, Y, H, and Y occur when K, G, H, and H are in direct contact with N and Y. There are also 6 pairs of long and short vowels, a feature only Zanchalese has. E, U, O, and A. There's also a Chinese with 32 consonants, 6 oral vowels, 6 nasal vowels, and 4 tones plus no tone. And Zishabese, which has 28 consonants, 6 vowels, and is written in the third law script. The former seems to have been influenced by Tahuapach, judging by the presence of 4 affricates, as well as nasal vowels and tones. And that's every major Sesjan language. There's also Sarsoch, spoken in former Hensa, as well as 5 other minority languages across the world, but those don't have wiki pages, so Chapter 8. The Amuj-Shudrowan languages. The Amuj-Shudrowan languages, or what you might ordinarily call the Semitic languages, were a very influential language family for the Amuyan states. Hebrew, which is my native language, was the more widespread of the 2 AS languages, being spoken in the city-state of Amuy and its splinters, in Uzafnik and CMC federations, and on Monkey Island. In fact, Monkey Island actually has its own dialect of Hebrew called, Monkey Hebrew. Monkey Hebrew was influenced the most by native Nguhcraftian languages, such as Kyawcenni and Nguhcrafters. Monkey Hebrew has 25 consonant phonemes, of which Z, J, N, and Ch are unique to it. There are also 9 vowel phonemes in Monkey Hebrew, of which and are unique to it as well. There's also some changes in pronunciation and romanization, but that's about it for Monkey Hebrew. Arabic, on the other hand, was only spoken in Bootland, in which it had phonemic ng and 9 vowels: e, u, e, o, a, o, a. And that's about it for the Amuj-Shudrowan languages. Wait, which category was next? Let me do this next section. Chapter 9. Pre-existing languages. There have been 6 languages across 4 Amuyan states that had already been, or have relatives that are, spoken elsewhere in the world by the time they were made official in said Amuyan states. The first of these languages is Viddish, which was a Saxo-Sasanic, i.e. Germanic, language that was spoken in the United City-State of Amuy prior to the Constitution striking it out of existence. It had 21 consonants: P, P, T, D, Ch, J, K, G, M, N, Ng, F, Th, S, Sh, H, H, R, L, L, and Y, at which Ng is an allophone of N before velar phonemes. Viddish also has 6 sets of short, long, and overlong vowels: E, 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 U, 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 E, A, O, 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 and Sorry, I can't do length. I just can't. Anyway, that's the only conlang in this section, because the rest are all natural. First off, there's Albanian, spoken in the Uzafnik Federation, of which a variety is also spoken in Nguhcrafters. In the CMC Federation, there were Latin and Viosa, of which the former was spoken in nearby Regni Latium, while a variety of the latter was spoken in Vilantnan. Finally, in Bootland, there were Russian and Malagash, of which the former was also spoken in Umrat to a certain somebody. Sure, and is still spoken in Pua, while the latter is distantly related to Maori in Pua, again, and Tauranga for Hawaii. And you know what, Elena? I'll let you voice over this next section. Okay. Chapter 10. Language Isolates. There are 8 known language isolates that were once spoken in an Amuyan state, of which the very first one was Aso in USA. Sorry for my bad Aso had only 17 consonants: M, N, Ng, P, T, K, Q, F, T, S, H, H, L, L, R, G, and W. And 8 vowels: I, U, U, E, O, A, O. In the Uzafnik Federation, there were 3 such languages: Pehuv, which I won't try to pronounce, and the Arvoyan languages of Awarik and Aulaman. The Simsek Federation had 3 more: Mupa, which had nasal vowels, Suhuyan, which I don't even know what Ingrid was thinking with, and Tos, which is still spoken in Helfana, now called Rupusha province in Roseiy. Woodland's native isolate was Isaiah, which had its own script, as well as a grammar book published by the University of Shabosir. And now, on behalf of Alvy and Ingrid, I would like to say this. Я желаю вам хорошего дня.